how are you calculating LTV with something that's a subscription? Because you fundamentally have people that are on it for many, many, many years, right? So how do you actually go about approaching that?
So on subscription, it's relatively easy to calculate LTV because you can just like basically look at your churn rate. But on one hand, you also have these certain decay curves that aren't necessarily linear, right? So for example, like the people that stick around after 24 months, like your 24 to 36 month retention is going to be so much higher than your like 1 to 12 month retention, because it's like a self-selecting group. But I mean, there's just amazing tools that are available in Shopify to do this. I mean, Lifetimely is a, $100, $200 a month app that you can just install and get all your cohort data. And then you can segment it by like what products they bought, if they're subscription or not subscription. But that's a very, very important metric to understand, as an e-commerce business, especially if you're not profitable on first purchase, right? I'd say like most like consumptive products, like you are taking a bit of a hit. So you're underwriting that LTV, and you need to know those numbers like implicitly, or else, you could be in a pretty bad situation.
Yeah, well, or else you're just throwing it against the wall, right?
Yeah.
In other words, otherwise you're just spending money on ads and not really sure how that's going to shake out on the back end.
Yeah. One thing that's interesting, because like, we work, with fractional CFOs, and so forth. And, some of these like finance platforms just for like e-commerce companies. And I'll ask them like, what are the characteristics of the fastest growing companies or like the best e-commerce companies like in, you're dealing with, and they're essentially all subscription businesses. That's kind of what I've uncovered. Purchases are just going to happen in the background. I mean, think about how many, like, some of the subscription products that you have and you're like, oh shit, I meant to cancel it, but I reordered, whatever, I'll still use it. Right. And then that just keeps going for a couple extra turns. And that could be the difference of being profitable and not as a business.
Apparently I'm a part of this private club in Austin for another year because of that reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 2 months later, I'm like, oh, fuck, they billed me 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. Generally, subscription businesses do better than like one-time businesses. So I don't think I'll be starting any e-commerce companies that don't have a subscription component to it, to be honest.
I can't even imagine that, to be honest. Like the adding that difficulty in business where you've got a whole bunch of one-time sales it's an unnecessary element of business if you're getting into business to design a profitable enterprise.
Well, let's take, for example, some of the hyperscalers in D2C e-com, right? Generally, the one, like if you take like Allbirds, like they scaled like crazy. But that's like, I mean, the shoes do have, like they wear out, you're going to need to buy new shoes. But like those guys like had a lot of success early on, and then like they've just gotten smashed. I mean, they were like $1 billion plus company at one point, and I think they're maybe like a $50 million or $100 million company now, something like that. I mean, it's just massive. And there's case studies written around it. One, because they like eroded a bunch of gross margin, and so forth. I mean, Warby Parker is kind of another one that I think scaled super fast. That had a lot of challenges further down the line because how often are you buying glasses versus like something like an AG1. Like that's been a very, very successful business because I think it's subscription, I think if you were to just separate all the hyperscalers in e-com and look at the ones that are one-time customers, like mattresses, like Casper mattresses, like they went from 0 to 300 million or 200 million in like 2-3 years. And I think that was another one that got this massive valuation and then just came crashing down later. So that'd be an interesting analysis, maybe have deep research to it. I'm sure there's enough case studies online.
Yeah. AG1's a super interesting one to me. I met Chris years ago. He kind of runs in similar circles, but he's been around forever. I mean, Athletic Greens has been around for 12 years or something, 15 years. I don't know. Long time. But it's also at a premium price point, and it was sort of a unique, unusual product. I think I say that a lot, unique and unusual. It's pretty much a synonym. It's a unique product that was really expensive that people didn't know about either. So that scale surprises me. Which brings me to another question for you, and I'll use AG1 as a jump off here. He had one product forever, and all he did was sell one product, Athletic Greens. In fact, it wasn't until they're at significant scale where they're like, shit, we should probably sell other products. So let's rebrand this as AG1, and then we'll sell other things under our umbrella as well. Laundry sauce. At what point do you decide, I don't just want to do detergent, I'm going to sell the things around? When do you split your focus?
Yeah. So when we first launched, we literally just had like a white box and black box of pods, right? And it wasn't until almost a year later where we launched like a female forward fragrance called Egyptian Rose, and we launched our dryer sheets. And I don't know, we might have gone from 300K a month, like 500K a month, like, boom, overnight, by like introducing those additional products. So, you know, it helps unlock that incremental scale. So for us, like as we've launched additional fragrances, that's created variety, and now kind of creates like more of a universe for people to participate in. Cause like, hey, I bought this fragrance, I want to try a new one, and it keeps it like fun and interesting. Like Dr. Squatch has done a really good job at that. Like they've created all these different fragrances, a bunch of different collabs, and they'll do like limited release fragrances as well. I think for us, I mean, we did like wool dryer balls, dryer sheets, fabric softener, scent booster. We just came out with like a fabric refresher spray. So we're kind of staying in the laundry universe. Like we'll come out with like a stain remover, things that just like generally make sense for laundry. But I think, product expansion is really key as a CPG business. For example, like that MeUndies that I was just talking about, right? They start off with underwear and then they expanded into all these other products because you need to be able to give your, customers that, like you, an opportunity to spend more money with you. So I think it depends on the type of business, like how, out there you need to get. So, something like clothing, I think you have to have like a lot of different like varieties, whereas something that's like very, kind of simple in nature, predictable consumption pattern, like a laundry sauce AG1 or something like that, you can probably get away with having less products because people just need to come back and buy the same one over and over and over again. For example, like I always use this, like Jack Daniels has been selling the same recipe for over 100 years or something. Maybe they've changed the bottle a little bit. So, you can build a great product. Like for example, like the chemistry of cleaning your clothes, like it's going to continue to work now and 10 years from now and 20 years from now. We do have like some, minor innovations on the formula or the formulation side, but generally it's like the same product. I'm going to be selling this, white box of laundry sauce for a long time. Right. And I love that. Whereas software, there's kind of like built-in entropy, right? If you're not continuing to innovate, like you're effectively dying. And I think that creates, a lot of challenges as the business. Cause like there's no software company that, unless you're maybe some of these like legacy enterprise providers that cannot like really innovate on their code base for an extended period of time and still like remain relevant. And now you also have like AI that is getting more and more powerful, and maybe someone can knock off your business in a few prompts.
Yeah. Well, I think that the AI conversation relative to SaaS is a really interesting one. Historically, what we've seen with software is the legacy providers stick there because they're entrenched into somebody's business operations. And so the stickiness of those products is really, really good. To rip out Salesforce from an org, that's a choice. And that's like a huge ordeal to redo that process. Now, like you said, with AI, maybe that's going to change in the next couple of years.
I think what AI is enabling is like vertically integrated SaaS in a sense. Like, for example, one of the reasons why Tesla is so efficient is because they like in-housed all their manufacturing and kind of like they've created their own in-house like custom software solutions to do everything. So they can like take raw materials and output a car. So like, how can you create those like hyper personalized for your business software solutions? And now AI might be able to knock that stuff out for you. So like, I think that is potentially where things are going. Rather than, these one size fits all type of SaaS products for the enterprise.